Hey friends, it's Whitney. Thanks for watching today's video, which is all about eyeliner. I'm so excited for this one. This is probably the video that I've been asked the most to make. So today's the day. We are going to look at 3 different options for doing your eyeliner that are kind of increasing in complexity or detail. And we end up with this winged eyeliner look using a liquid liner, which is pretty much what I wear every day because I'm just a little bit extra like that. But if you're not up for wearing a winged eyeliner look every single day because you don't want to, or you don't like it, or you don't feel confident about it, that is okay, because I'm also going to show you 2 other methods that are a bit easier and more subtle, and that will be using a black eyeshadow, and then the second method will be using a smudged pencil effect. So we're going to get into all of those details, but before we do, let me give you a really important tip, and that is whenever you're practicing with a new makeup product, or certainly with a new technique like trying to get comfortable doing eyeliner, what I do is I'll practice those things at night before I take off my makeup for the day, because then there's just no harm, no foul. If you don't love how it looks, no problem, you're going to wipe it off anyway. So try this at night until you get comfortable. With that, I have one ask for you, which is to subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you haven't already, I'm going to try to build this one person at a time. So if you haven't subscribed, please do that. Like this video and follow me on Instagram at Serving Face with Whitney. And with that, let's get into this winged eyeliner look. Here we go. Let's get right on into it. Let's start with the first of the 3 methods, which is going to be the eyeshadow method. And I think this eyeshadow method is really a great place to start if you're just not comfortable doing eyeliner, you've not played with it much, or you feel like you haven't had great success playing with it. Try this eyeshadow method first because it's very forgiving. And really the only key is using the right kind of brush. So this brush, you can see, has a very flat top. It's very thin and it's really stiff. Okay, this is the kind of brush you want to do this method, and once you have this, you're really good to go. The only other things you're going to need are a very black or very, very dark brown eyeshadow. So I'm going to use one of those today. This is a true black matte eyeshadow. And then ideally you would have a setting spray. If you don't have a setting spray, you could also do just a tiny bit of water. We basically just want to dampen this black eyeshadow so it gets extra black and it has a little bit of stick to it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go right in to this black shadow just on the end of the brush. So straight in, just like this. We're not using the sides of the brush for this, so no need to load up the sides of your brush. Then I'm going to spray it with a little bit of setting spray. And what I'm going to do with this is just create a line right on my lash line. Now what we want to do is get that literally right on the lash line. You should be touching your lashes when you do this. And I'm going to just do, actually I'm going to do this eye. I'm just going to do little kind of wiggling back and forth motions. They're short. And then I'm just going to dip right back into that shadow when I need it. And you should feel this on the base of your eyelashes when you're doing it. That's how close you want it to your lashes. But you can tell I'm not going all the way back and forth at once. I'm just doing short dash motions. This is very forgiving because obviously it's a shadow, so you're going to get this softer, smoked out liner look, but you get a lot of the benefits of an actual eyeliner, right? Which is going to be drawing attention to the eye, to the shape of the eye, making your lashes look thicker because you're thickening up the darkness at the base of your lashes. Now, can you tell, looking at those 2 eyes together, how much more kind of defined and smoky this eye looks? That's pretty good. Now, if I want to make it even blacker, I'm going to do a little more of that setting spray and just go over it one more time with those little wiggly motions. If you wanted to, you could extend this out and get a little bit of a winged look to it. but that's just going straight across my lash line. And look how nice that looks, right? That looks an awful lot like real eyeliner. So that's one method. Again, give that a go if you consider yourself a beginner with eyeliner, or you just want to do something that's a little easier for an everyday eyeliner look. That works really well. The second method is a smudged pencil method. Basically, whenever you see a pencil eyeliner in the store that has this sponge tip, that sponge indicates that the formula of this liner is meant to be smudged. So what I would do with this, and I would consider this kind of, if this isn't really doing it for you, right, if you feel like you're kind of past this, you want something that's still easy, still forgiving, but it's going to be more intense, blacker, and probably last in its intensity a little bit longer throughout the day than the shadow, this would be the solution for that. But again, we're going to smudge it, so we're not trying to get a really exacting look to the shadow, so this is a good option for that. And you would do the exact same thing that I just did with the shadow. So you would do short little dashes right on the lash line, and then you come back with the sponge end and you smudge it out. So watch how this does on my hand. There's a dash, there's a dash. I've used very little product. Then I come back with the sponge end and smudge that out. So you get the idea of how that would look on my eye, right? And again, if you wanted to flick that out a little bit on the outer edge, you could. That's the idea of method number 2, the smudged liner. All right, so what I'm gonna actually do now is I'm gonna repeat that eyeshadow method on my right eye so you can see it one more time, and so my eyes look the same, because next I'm gonna go into third method, is what we're all here for, which is liquid liner, and specifically how to get a pretty winged look with liquid liner. I think the reason why people love liquid liner with a wing so much is because it's a classic beauty look, right? That's what Marilyn Monroe always wore. So it's a classic look. I think you look at somebody who has a winged liner on and you think, wow, that person knows what they're doing with their makeup, right? So it's kind of impressive. And it gives you that classic cat eye look that, as I've said in probably every one of my videos, is just kind of generally flattering on all of our eyes. So this is 2 eyes done with the eyeshadow method, just so you can see that. But right now, let's go right on into the liquid liner method. There are lots of good liquid liners out there. I'll put in the description box below which one I'm using, but you don't have to spend a lot of money on a liquid liner to get a good effect. I do like liquid liners that are like this one, where they kind of look like a pen. They look like a Sharpie. I think these are the easiest to work with. Again, there's lots of different options. There's gels, there's liquid liners where they have like a roller ball on the end, all this crazy stuff. You don't need that. I really suggest, especially if you're a beginner, just start with one that works kind of like a marker. It's going to be the easiest for you. Now, as we do liquid liner, you could tell as I did this eyeshadow method, and it's somewhat true with the pencil method as well, one of the downsides to that is we don't have a lot of control over how thick that line is, meaning it's going to be kind of the same thickness all the way across the eye, and that's because we were using a brush or a smudged pencil where you're getting that kind of blown out look to the liner instead of something exacting. So I'm actually going to go over that a little bit and smoke it out a little bit more so we can get a better picture of what I'm about to do with this liquid liner, because with liquid liner you are going to be exacting about it, and that's what makes it look so pretty and sharp and cat-like. With liquid liner, you can achieve a shape to your eyeliner, and the most flattering shape for most of our eyes is going to be thinnest on the inner corner and then thickest on the outer corner. Again, think about the classic cat eye. We can achieve that with liquid liner. One thing you want to be careful about is making sure you're still leaving some visible lid space. So when you're looking straight ahead at yourself in the mirror, you want to still be able to see some of this lower lid, because being able to see some of your lower lid makes it certain that you're not closing your eyes in with that liner. You're not going to make your eyes look smaller. So again, keeping it thin on the inside will achieve that as well. So I'm just going to get started and talk about what I'm doing, and hopefully you can see me well enough, but I will do both eyes so we'll be able to see it twice, I think. All right, so the way that I start, first of all, is using the side of this pen. That's another thing I think people get a little confused about, is they think they're going to be literally holding it like they would hold a pencil and drawing it on that way. That's not really what you want to do. It's not what I do at all. There is a certain point where I use it that way, but for the most of this method, I'm using the side of the pen, using the shape of the pen itself to my advantage. So to start off with that, I'm using the side. As I said, I'm going to start on the inside corner, and I am going to stay as close to that lash line as I can, and I'm literally just doing short dashes with the side of the liner pen over till about the middle of my eye. You can already start to see a difference with that liquid versus the shadow. It's just richer, blacker, it's inky, it's gorgeous. I'm a fan, but you all already knew that. Okay, so now that's half of it done. Now that's the easy half, to be fair. But I'm going to switch gears now, and I'm going to start working on the outer corner with the wing. One of the other challenges to a wing is knowing what shape to make it, like how angled it should be. You'll see some people do theirs where it comes out almost completely straight out from the corner of their eye or way up. That's really kind of personal preference, something that you can play with and decide what you like the best. But one tip I'll give you if you're starting out, an easy way to think about it is if you look at your eye and you imagine that this lower eyelid area, the shape of that just continues on up. So if you line your pen up on its side, you're looking at yourself straight on, you can kind of hold it at the same angle as your lower lid is. Hope that's making sense. Right there, and you can just use the side of that pen to draw a little dash right up. It's close to that same angle as you can get it. See what I did there? So now what we're going to do, and when you might want to do, in fact what I'll do for you, probably best practice, is to go ahead and do that same thing on the other eye. I'm also still using my right hand. I got that question, which is a good question. Do you switch hands when you're doing one side versus the other? Absolutely not. My goodness, don't make it harder on yourself. Use your dominant hand on both sides. So I'm just crossing my arm over so I can still look at myself straight in the mirror. I'm holding that pen at the angle that sort of matches that lower lash line, and I'm going to use the side of the pen to make a little dash. Now I can look at them both in the mirror and see, do they look like they're kind of the same? And I'd say they look kind of the same. All right, so now what I'm going to do, again, I'm still going to be using the side of the pen. I'm going to hold my eyelid a little bit so it's kind of flat. And I'm going to take and connect the outside of that dash down to the middle of my lid at an angle. And I want to be touching my lower lash line by the time I get to the middle of my eye, because that's where I want the thickness to start, is from the middle out. Let me just show you, and then I'll talk about what I did some more. Okay, so I'm holding this flat. I'm not going in like this. I'm using the side. I'm drawing a line angled down to the middle of my lash line. Okay, now I'm just going to color that in. Now this is where I use it like a pen. This is the first time I'm using the actual point of this liner. Okay, now I'll just kind of look at it. That looks pretty good. Now I've got a really teeny tiny wing at this point, but I'm going to leave that for right now, and I'm going to switch and do the other one. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing. Flatten this out a little bit. Using the side I'm going to draw a line, connecting it down to the middle of my lash line. Actually, I don't think I ever did the inside of this one, did I? So let me do that real quick. Side of the pen, little dashes right along the lash line. Okay, so now I've got the shape drawn on the outer corner. I'm gonna color that in. And I'm going to stop and look at both eyes and see how they're looking. Now when I look at myself straight on, this initial dash that I drew was a little bit longer. So right now this wing's coming out a little further than the other one. But the angles look pretty good. And actually everything else looks pretty good. I could color this in a little bit better. So I'm going to do that. There's a little spot I could color in a little bit better, so I'll do that. Now I'm just going to use my gut instinct and practice, and I'm going to make these wings match a little better. So I know this one needs to come out a little further. So again, I'm just going to hold it flat using really the side again. And then to get that really sharp point, whereas we've been drawing this way, to get that sharp point, it's kind of the last step, and you just want to take it right at the end of your triangle you've created with all of your previous steps, and you just flick it out. That one got a little big. This eyeliner I think is maybe running a little low, so it's not the most cooperative. Okay. Again, I'm going to clean up. Yeah, it's running a little low. This outer triangle, I'm going to flick out the edge. It's not wanting to give me a fine point because it's running low. It's fighting me, and I'm trying to be really careful because, of course, this is where we get ourselves in trouble, where our wings just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger because you keep trying to get them equal. Let me look at those. Make this one match that other one a little better because, alright, so this is pretty good. I'm not getting as fine a point as I normally do with my regular eyeliner, but it's okay. I think what I'll do, I think I'll just leave it. I think they're totally fine. And let's actually use that as a lesson. So if I close my eyes here, you can see they're not 100% exactly the same. This one flips up a little bit more than this one. I'd like for that to do that, but the tip of this liner is just not cooperating. There it goes, a little bit up. So that's a little bit better. But my point is, they're not 100% exactly the same. But I know, again, from experience, that by the time I get my lashes done, it's all going to be fine. So I'm going to leave it just like that. I'm going to come back in just a minute with my eye mascara on, and you can see the completed look. Okay, I'm back with the finished look. All I have done is applied mascara to my upper and lower lashes. And you can see now how this all comes together. As I was mentioning, it all looks like this beautiful cohesive eye look now. It looks black and inky and fluttery. The fact that those two wings are not completely identical, would you ever notice that if you were looking at me? I really don't think so. In fact, I know it because people compliment me on my eyeliner all the time, and they're never exactly the same. So don't overthink that. Just give it a try. Give it some practice, and you'll get them so close that nobody will ever know the difference. But you can see by looking at me now with that beautiful wing, my eyelashes look so fluttery and fluffy. It's kind of actually hard to tell by looking at me what is eyeliner and what are long fluttery lashes on the outside of my eyes. So that's what's so flattering about this look. Here's one more look at it with my eyes closed. And I hope you find yourself inspired to try eyeliner, whether it's the eyeshadow method, a smudged pencil, or a liner. Give it a go. Like I said, practice it at night when you're getting ready to take all your makeup off. And if you give it a try, Tell me how it goes. Tell me what you're liking or what you're struggling with. Send me pictures of your eyeliner. I'd love to see it. Thanks again for watching this video. And I want to ask again, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do that. Click subscribe. Give this video a like and follow me on Instagram at Serving Face with Whitney. Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.